I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. Friday is my favourite time of the week because it's time to give some points to some wrestlers and then slot them into a league table. Wrestlers of the week. Yeah! Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com and that's right, it's time for week 46 of Wrestlers of the Week. And of course it's my favourite time of the week, and especially this week because wow, what an eventful week it's been in the world of wrestling. We've had Bryan, we've had Becky Lynch doing all kinds of things, we've had Brock Lesnar nearly murdering people, and Nia Jax also really hurting someone. Spoiler alert, neither Lesnar nor Jax are going to get on Wrestler of the Week. But at the same time, we've got people from WWE, we've got people from the Indies, the crunchy old Indies. We've got people from, I think we've got one person from Ring of Honor as well. We've got people from all over the place, but I think there's a little bit of a focus on WWE for some of this video, for some of it, just because it's been such an eventful week. So yeah, let's just get on with the honourable mentions. Gonna read them off my notes again as I did last week because there's just too many to just do in one go. Oh no! Right. No, I'm gonna put my notes down because I have to talk about this first. So my first honourable mention, and the most honourable of honourable mentions, goes to a Spanish man, named A-Kid. Now you may have seen on the internet recently that A-Kid had a match that blew up with Zack David Jr. this week. It got 5 stars in The Observer from Dave Meltzer. I watched it myself, it was absolutely amazing. It was part of White Wolf Wrestling in Madrid, Spain, and it was just a phenomenal match between A-Kid, who not a lot of people have heard of. I've actually seen him wrestle, but only in a tag match once. He was in a North show in Newcastle, and he was alright. I didn't see this coming though. Zack David Jr. was excellent as always, and the pair had great chemistry, an intense atmosphere, and it was brilliant. The problem is, it happened in about April. So as I do whenever I'm faced with a crucial life decision, took to Twitter, didn't I? And I asked you all, should I include A-Kid and Zack David Jr.'s match in contention for deciding this Wrestlers of the Week ranking? And it was like a 50-50 poll. I think no had a slight advantage, and I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not take it into account, just because, right, if I start taking all the matches from the year that I've missed into account, I'm always going to miss matches because wrestling's just a huge industry. If I start taking old matches into account, people are going to start suggesting old ones that I've just not seen. I'm going to have to start retroactively awarding points to loads of different wrestlers. It's going to change everything. It's going to break the system, and I just can't. This series it's like my child, it's like my baby, and I just want to keep it safe and keep it on the straight and narrow and just keep things. I'm not perfect presenter. I miss things. But we're never going to be perfect. Meltzer missed this match, for God's sake. So what I've instead decided to do is to award A-Kid the first ever commemorative, the inaugural A-Kid, it's named after him, the A-Kid Sorry Man Memorial Trophy. Maybe not Memorial Trophy, A-Kid Sorry Man Commiseration Trophy. Consolation Prize, there we go. Cup of Consolation. The A-Kid Sorry Man Cup of Consolation. Congratulations, A-Kid. Now let's get on to the rest of the honourable mentions. I'll whiz through them, I promise. So after A-Kid wins the inaugural A-Kid Sorry Man Cup of Consolation, we've also got to mention Aussie Open and Minoru Suzuki, who were all part of a wonderful tag match at Rev Pro. Kyle O'Reilly, who won the advantage for his team at this weekend's War Games show by defeating Hansen, I think, out of the War Raiders on NXT. Fabian Eichner, again, managed to emerge from a pair of Evolve shows with his Evolve Championship intact. Trent Beretta had a good match as part of Ring of Honor's Global Wars Tour. Can't believe I forgot that mid-flow. And they're going to keep it in as well. Lovely. And finally, David Starr. David Starr, who challenged Tomohiro Ishii at Rev Pro for his British Heavyweight Championship and came up short. And I haven't included either of them in Wrestlers of the Week itself, just because I think that there was a booking mistake. I think David Starr should have won, basically. But it was a decent match. Pretty good stuff. Now on to number 10. And rarely do I award points to someone who hasn't even wrestled in a week. I think I did the Ciampa once when he cut a really good promo. And this week I'm going to give a point to Becky Lynch. Now, no longer am I filled with a burning, insatiable desire to give Becky Lynch points after she actually was Wrestler of the Week during the week where Evolution happened and she had that excellent match. This isn't biased in any way. Neither was that, she's just brilliant. And everyone, everyone can see that now. Everyone's agreeing that Becky is the hottest thing in wrestling right now, and it's wonderful. But she did get a concussion on Raw. Now, Becky's injury obviously meant that she had to be pulled from Survivor Series and her match with Ronda Rousey, but this is actually a bit of a blessing in disguise because it means that Becky can now turn properly babyface, as long as she keeps acting like a badass, and can also potentially have this match at a bigger stage, WrestleMania. That's the rumour going around. So, This is actually a good thing for Becky, but it did mean that this week she didn't gather as many points as she maybe could have because she just couldn't wrestle. But at the same time, I couldn't not give her a point because she's been hilarious on Twitter, one of the best uses of Twitter by a wrestler I've ever seen. She's been fantastic, waging war against Ronda Rousey, updating her location to inside Ronnie's head and stuff like that. Her promos are absolutely fire. The segment on Raw itself will go down as an iconic moment in the history of Becky Lynch, I think, with the blood and standing in the crowd and like, yeah, and it was just awesome. And how's she a heel? They know that she's not a heel now. They couldn't treat her like that and make her a heel. They know that. They know that now. But anyway, not much to really talk about because she couldn't wrestle, but she still gets a point for just being molten hot right now. Number 9, time to get juicy. It's Juice Robinson. That was disturbing. I'm never going to do that again, ever. Juice has had a really good Global Wars tour. He's gone, I think, undefeated on the tour as well. He's been really gearing towards a rematch for the United States Championship that he lost a few months ago. And I was really worried for him when he lost that US title because it was really the thing that was helping build him up, and then he lost it and he went on a bit of a slide, it has to be said. He wasn't very good in the G1 also, and I think I was just kind of fearing for Juice Robinson. I thought, is this push over? Is this the end? Is he just going to be a bit of a semi-jobber now in New Japan? But no, he's back on track. I think his best match was against Trent Beretta. I enjoyed that one. Trent was one of the honourable mentions in this video, of course. And yeah, just looking forward to what Juice can do. If, like me, you quite like Juice Robinson, you're probably hoping, yeah, maybe he can win the title back. That would be decent. I'd kind of enjoy that. If you like him as much as Sam Driver does, you're going to be absolutely heartbroken when he doesn't win the title back. So that would be nice to look forward to, I guess. It's not Sam editing this video, so that's fine. It's Richard Tubman. Shout out to you, Richard, mate. And yeah, probably better to be in our shoes. Let's not get too invested in Juice. A man who wears curly hats and weird Elizabethan... He looks like a Randy Blackadder. Number 8, picking up 3 points for being just a big old loser. It's the phenomenal AJ Styles. Is that what he does? This week, Styles suffered one of the biggest losses of his career, losing the WWE Championship in a match on SmackDown that could have been avoided if he just kept his mouth shut. If he just kept Daniel Bryan's name out of his mouth, he would still be WWE Champion right now. But I had to recognise 2 things really for AJ Styles to get some points on the list. 1, the match was really good. It was a fantastic SmackDown main event. And secondly as well, Styles' run has been excellent. He has been, up until this week, the only WWE Champion in the history of this series. He's never lost it from January. Never lost it from like last November. It was a great title reign. It did involve a lot of testicle-based... There was a lot of ball themes going on, right? He got kicked in the balls a lot. He kicked Nakamura in the balls. Daniel Bryan kicked him in the balls. Nakamura uppercutted him in the balls several times. But I think I can confidently say that it was the best testes-based WWE Championship reign in the belt's illustrious lineage. So you can't say fairer than that, really. Number 8, Chris is awesome. He is as real as it gets. The type to hit you quick with the Mafia kick. It's Cassius Ohno. So Cassius Ohno / Chris Hero. The reason that I'm hyping up his old indie name so much is because Ohno is one of those superstars who WWE have been sending over to Evolve to just tear the place up, yo. NXT for life. Ohno had 2 matches at Evolve 115 and 116, which both took place this past week, and did really well in both matches. Not too successful, to be fair. The first match was a title match, or was it a non-title match? It was a match against the champion, the Evolve champion, Fabian Aichner, and Ohno came up short. Poor Cassius, oh no. But the following show, he had a chance to redeem himself, and redeem himself he did, defeating Shaney Boy Strickland, the champion before Fabian Aichner. Now, Cassius Ohno did really well and deserves his points. I want to talk about Shane Strickland a little bit. I'm wondering if he's going to NXT or to the Performance Center, because Strickland lost the belt really fast in Evolve. He'd only just won it from Matt Riddle, had a few good defenses under his belt, but Evolve title reigns often go on really long. And his was cut really short by Fabian Aichner, an incoming WWE guy. Why would they do that? And then why would they have him lose to Cassius Ohno as well? Why is Strickland suddenly putting everyone over when he looked to be on such a roll? I think he's going to the Fed. I think he's going to New York, brother, to Orlando though. But I think, you get what I mean? I think he's been signed. That's just a little rumour that I've made up in my head, but I think there's logic behind it too. Number 6, the biggest surprise package of this series, I think, from the start of 2018, alongside maybe Buddy Murphy. It's Mustafa Ali. Ali was the main attraction of these Evolve shows. He was the big WWE superstar coming in, having matches with some of their more nimble guys and really putting on a show. The better of his two matches came on night one against DJZ, who you may remember as Zima Ion from like TNA and that sort of thing. Well, he was also called DJZ in TNA, wasn't he, by the end? Or Impact Wrestling, as we now know them, our friends over at Impact. The second match came against Darby Allin, my boy, my spirit animal, my Patronus, my secret man crush. Not so secret because I've broadcast it multiple times on this show. And the match wasn't as good as one with DJZ. And I feel like it takes a lot of bravery to admit that. I think that's one of the bravest things I've ever done, right? DJZ had a better match with Mustafa Ali than Darby Allin did. But exciting news, folks, because after the match, Mustafa Ali won both matches, by the way, obviously. But when he beat Darby Allin, he said, "You know what, kid, Darby, mate, lad? When I win the Cruiserweight Championship at Survivor Series on Sunday, I'm going to give you a shot at the belt in the future." And I was like, that's fantastic. I want that so much. He's obviously not going to win the belt. Oh. So yeah, if that didn't confirm that Mustafa Ali's not going to beat Buddy Murphy on Sunday, then I don't know what will. But never mind, you know, Darby Allin's getting mentioned in the same arena as guys like Murphy and Ali. So that's, you know what? That's good enough for me for now. I believe in you, Darby. I've got your back. I'm sure that makes him feel great. Number 5, one of the men I think that I've actually underrated quite a lot this year, underappreciated in terms of points allocation on this list, Phoenix. Phoenix went to NEW, a promotion up in the northeast of it. It was in Poughkeepsie, which I think is in New York State, but I'm not certain. Upstate New York. Gym Class Heroes, Radio Killer. Sorry about busting into a rendition of Gym Class Heroes' Cookie Jar there, one of the jams of like my school days. Hands out the cookie. Who am I talking about again? Oh, Phoenix, right. I've just talked about not giving him his due as well. I just sidetracked. Phoenix had a really good match. 4 3/4 stars by Meltzer and the Observer against Kenneth Omega. And it was class. And Phoenix is showing that he's not just great in nimble singles action against like smaller guys like himself. He's not just great in tag team matches at places like PWG alongside his brother Pentagon. He's not just good on Lucha Underground. He's good in a New Japan style main event featuring mad reversals, complex counters, strong style strikes and all the rest of it. Really all round high quality elite match against a member of the Elite as well, against someone as good as Kenny Omega. And Phoenix did not look out of place one little bit. In fact, he thrived. This match was really, really good. I suggest you watch it online if you can find it. It's NEW is the name of the promotion. New, lovely. And maybe it's a new start for Phoenix. Maybe this is the match that can really tip him over the edge into the next level of his career, because he's so skilled and so good that I think he deserves, I was going to say deserves a title reign. He is the champion of NEW at the minute. And this was a non-title match, but I think he deserves a more sustained push somewhere like New Japan. Maybe Impact could push him a little bit more. Maybe if he got signed, you know, but I don't know if he would get, I don't know if that would be the best for his career, but I can see him doing well in NXT. Not so much 205 Live. I think he'd become the new Hideo Itami. But anyway, I think Phoenix is really, really good and deserves more. Hashtag give Phoenix a chance. Number 4, I've just mentioned him, Phoenix's opponent, Kenny Omega. Kenny, you sneaky boy. What have you done? I can't believe it. This week, right, Kenny Omega has utilised a few. Long-time watchers of this series will know that Roderick Strong is the ultimate heel of this series, right? Because what Roderick Strong would do for the first few months of the year, he was like really high up in the rankings despite not having that many matches. And it was just because he'd wait until a week when there were no big New Japan matches, there were no big WWE pay-per-views, and he'd just have quite a good match on NXT, and I'd be like, well, I've got to give you quite a lot of points there, Roderick, haven't I? And he'd do that. He did that about 3 or 4 times. And now Kenny Omega is doing this. He's employing low tactics like a member of the Undisputed Era. How dare you, Kenneth? So what Omega's done for himself, right? He's waited until there's a bit of a gap in the New Japan schedule. He knows that Okada's not going to have a great match anywhere. Tanahashi's not going to be in danger of having a great match. Naito's not going to be running off and having a secret great match somewhere. And he's gone and booked himself a match in America against Phoenix that he knows is going to scoop him a load of points. In all seriousness, it was really good and he deserves all the points, of course. And he won. He retained. It was a non-title match, I've mentioned that already, but he had the belt with him, I guess. I don't know what to say. I'm a bit startled by how sneaky Kenny's been this week. I guess when it comes down to it, he is near the top of the table, and if he wants to catch Will Ospreay, he does have to employ a few underhanded tactics like this. So in a way, I applaud him for this, but I'm not happy about it. But as I say, in all seriousness, it was a wonderful match. I like what Meltzer said in his review of it as well, because I watched it and I thought it was really, really good, but maybe not 5 stars personally for me, but close. Really, really good stuff. Meltzer said that it was really close to 5 stars for him too, but his reason was different. He said, I don't know if I can give it the full 5 because I've only been able to watch it on handheld mobile phone footage. And I was like, what? How have you only? And he was like, yeah, every time I try and watch the match properly, something goes wrong. Don't know what that means, something goes wrong. Are you alright, Dave? You alright, mate? Number 3, another one of the front runners of this list. That's right, no, I'm just joking. It's Volta. Volta is, of course, the current Progress champion. And honestly, when I think we look back on 2018 and different title reigns in different promotions, I think that Volta's reign as Progress champion will be potentially one of the strongest ones in the world. I think he's been great. He's had some really good defenses, especially the one at Wembley against Tyler Bate, and especially this one this week against Zack David Jr. One thing I should point out about Volta, if you've never watched one of his matches, is he's not actually that complicated a wrestler. He doesn't like have all the moves in his locker. He doesn't do flips to surprise everyone like maybe Keith Lee or Jeff Cobb or someone like that would do. He just does kicks, chops, throws people around, lariats, that sort of thing. Classic big man offense, but everything he does is devastatingly good. It hurts. You can tell that it's like convincing. It looks cool. He looks undefeatable right now, and it's awesome. And he was matched up against the perfect opponent in Zack Sabre Jr. I don't know really what else to say about Volta because I'm going to talk about the match in a second, but I just think that this year has been a massive year for him. Reportedly WWE were interested. Apparently he turned it down. He's not interested in like leaving, Germany where he lives, and he's a trainer at WXW, and he doesn't really want to give up that life, and I respect that. But at the same time, imagine him in WWE. Never mind. Number 2, right, Zack Sabre Jr., his opponent. Now, if Zack had wrestled A-Kid this week and done the rest of the stuff that he did this week, he'd probably be number 1. It's taken something quite special to beat Zack this week, as we'll talk about in a second. But Zack Sabre Jr. still had an excellent week. On Wrestlers of the Week, he had that excellent match against Volta. He was also part of a really exciting tag match at Rev Pro alongside Suzuki, his tag partner. Imagine having Suzuki as your tag partner. It's like the ultimate, like, my dad will beat you up move. Oh, against Aussie Open. Both matches were great, but the one against Volta was absolutely superb as well. Zack came up a little bit short in trying to win the Progress Championship, as I think many of us would have suspected given his New Japan schedule. I don't think anyone realistically thought that Zack was going to win the title, but at the same time, the match was an enthralling one. Zack was actually goading Volta into chopping him more, which no opponent has ever done, because Volta's chops are horrible and cut your chest up. But Zack was doing it so that he could catch the arm at one point and lock him into a submission. Yes, he lost the match in the end, but he remains one of the UK's finest wrestling exports. Not just in this current UK surge of wrestling, I mean ever. Zack is top notch. Really good stuff. Give him a push again, New Japan. But maybe don't give him a push because I'm scared of how many points I'd give him. And finally, number 1 in my Wrestler of the Week. And a man that I never thought would be Wrestler of the Week. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is my Wrestler of the Week, and for good reason as well, man, because, well, for one, we've never seen a WWE Championship change hands on this series at all. It's always been Styles throughout the year, so that was a major deal for me. I was like, wow, this belt's changed hands for the first time in the series. That's really cool. Secondly, given Bryan's history and his story, having to retire due to injury, fighting his way back, somehow managing to be cleared again to wrestle, and then doing so, I was worried for him as well, because I thought they were kind of treating him like any other babyface on SmackDown, despite being Daniel Bryan. And then he changed it up. Apparently he was pitching for this heel turn to Vince, and it was executed perfectly. If there's one negative to be said, I think it's the fact that Bryan has won the belt and turned heel, but we're expecting him to get booed in a match with Lesnar at Survivor Series. Doesn't quite add up. But at the same time, I think that the heel turn was executed really well, kicked him in the balls, manically tore at his own hair and stuff and thought, what have I done? And then thought, no, I'm going for it. Kneed Styles in the face, pinned him, won the belt, and then just looked so much of a dick on the way out. It was awesome. I can't wait to see if they make him go full, like, intense American Dragon, ROH era, Daniel Bryan heel. Maybe, because that's kind of got shades of like Kurt Angle when he was the wrestling machine, he was all intense, and he was just punishing people. I'd love to see that. I'm going to be really disappointed if they turn him into the classic modern WWE chicken-ish heel who just cheats to win all the time, runs away and stuff, because that's not Daniel Bryan. He needs to be ruthless, and he needs to win clean sometimes, and it needs to be convincing. But anyway, all that aside, I have no qualms about making Daniel Bryan, can you believe it, my wrestler of the week. So let's take a look at that lovely old league table. Zack David Jr. and Kenny Omega narrow the gap to Will Ospreay, and they, along with Okada and Volta, are the only men who can mathematically catch him before the end of the year. There, a little bit further down, we can see people like Gargano and Ciampa, who are going to have a chance to pick up some places this weekend thanks to War Games. Ricochet's there too as well, part of the War Games match itself, while Mustafa Ali jumps up to 18th. What a year he's had. And everything else remains the same down to the bottom of the top 25. So that's all there needs to be said. Thank you very much for watching week 46 of Wrestlers of the Week. My name has been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic. Check out our Patreon as well too if you want, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, to hit subscribe and to join us.